So when you took on the idea of directing Shakespeare yourself, at the beginning, were you nervous about it? Did it take you a while to come up to the idea of embracing it and doing it?
Well, I've done a lot of Shakespeare plays. When I thought about Coriolanus just as being a film just after I played it about 11 years ago, and I sort of reeled myself into this mad task of doing. I felt very strongly I wanted to direct it. I mean, I had the idea of what it would be as a film grew and grew in me, and I suppose if a director had come to me saying this is I would have loved it, but that wasn't happening, and this obsession with it grew and grew. And
for how many years?
Well, over a space of, I guess, 9 years. I played it in 2000, thought about it, and couldn't put it away, but I didn't have the confidence. The reason I had the confidence to pursue it was because a producer who I worked with on The Constant Gardener, a wonderful man called Simon Channing Williams, I got to know, become friends with on that film, understood and intuited that I would like to direct something and wanted to direct my first film, whatever that would be, and then had a script which his company owned, a very moving script actually set in northern Canada. And I came on a couple of location scouts and they started to sort of work on making it, and very tragically, well, first of all, it became clear that the finance was going to be impossible, and then he tragically died. But that experience of someone saying, I believe in you, here's a script,
here's how we get started.
So coming here, thinking, starting to think like a director, looking at locations, what does it mean, where and that, starting to do little drawings about how scenes might be shot. That gave me a kind of confidence. I also think that bit of me that I wanted to direct was starting to be answered.
And so you started thinking about it. But you seem to have had, I mean, this film has the, it looks like a movie that there was a vision behind it. In other words, the handheld cameras, the immediacy of the violence, the closeness of the action to the camera, the way that you're immersed in the world in a very realistic way. Was this your vision?
Yeah. The war had to be real. It's real. I mean, it's all. I think it's. The idea for it crystallised further and further as I felt that the world we were in, are in still, constant conflict, constant governments misleading people or compromising on people's right to speak, to protest. Also the phenomenon of strong, ruthless leaders being adored by their own people, like Putin in Russia. Well, certainly a large part of it, not everyone, but I mean, I feel some people like aggressive, potent leadership, and military heroes are fascinating and frightening at the same time.
They're sexy.
And they're sexy and sort of disturbing.
That's exactly what Coriolanus is, because there's a purity to him that you admire.
He's holding to, what I love about the play is Shakespeare says, here's a man who basically turns up at the beginning and sort of does that to the people. And then we understand.
He's not pandering to them.
No,
he's not sucking up to them.
No, he's not. I think the play, story, film says here is a man holding to a sense of integrity, which is extreme, and it's rooted in him being a soldier, a military man. But he's trying to hold to some, as you said, a sense of purity, that he will not compromise himself.
And then everyone asks him to do it, including his mother. I love Vanessa Redgrave in this. She is so great. And if you see her, she's always been very tall and athletic, and as she gets older, she's still very beautiful. But what she brings, she has that stage power. Can you explain what it is that she has?
No, she has a gift, a mystery that goes sort of plumbs depths that are extraordinary, and a truth monitor that's unique. So it
must have been fun to stand up against her.
was fun. It was also thrilling because she's giving you some pure thing. So it makes you want to be pure in your choices. You know, it raises your game.
Well, it's a good thing you knew the character so well because you were marshalling an army there. I mean, you had a lot to keep track of. That must have been a challenge.
Yeah, I had amazing people around me. I mean, I was blessed with an amazing crew who all seemed to love the project and love what I was trying to do.
Were they Serbian?
Some were. Yeah, some
How
yeah.
did that happen that you ended up shooting over there? It worked very well.
Well, I went on a location scout in 2008 to Eastern Europe, to Bucharest, and Croatia, Bosnia, and Serbia. Belgrade was the star. It won the audition for Best Rome because it was never going to be. I never wanted it to be Rome, Italy. It was, as I have this card at the beginning, which says a place calling itself Rome, which is in fact used with permission of the John Osborne estate, because John Osborne, the British playwright, did a version of Coriolanus, which has never been done, because I think probably it's quite hard to do with this odd hybrid of him and Shakespeare. But he uses this title, which exactly says what the sort of idea is. It's a place calling itself Rome.
What's great about Shakespeare is that he's going back and reworking history in his own inimitable way, but the people who have interpreted those plays over decades and hundreds of years have reinterpreted those locations and those periods in so many interesting ways.
The Elizabethans wouldn't have been in studiously recreated togas and stuff. They would have used their own. They might have had a bit of a cloth over an Elizabethan breastplate or something, but you know, you have to make it work for your own time, and I'm.
But you are creating a sort of alternative universe that doesn't really exist, except that it's extremely timely, as you say. It resonates a great deal.
Well,
where is it? In your mind, where are we exactly?
You should be in any, let's just say any Western/European city.
Even Italy now is going through so much of the same stuff.
There are parts of Italy that look like Belgrade.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere, but it has to be totally modern. And I suppose if I'm casting myself, then those around me have to believably come from this. I had to work out from that, you know. But we have to be from the same place, so I couldn't go and shoot it in China or somewhere. You know, it'd have to be. But it could be China. I mean, the audience can make the leap.
No, it really is about politics. It's so interesting the way you have the different players. Brian Cox is a great character.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, the way he winds his way through this as an ally and then an opponent. And of course, Gerard Butler changes as a Phineas, right? He changes places. Now, he's another actor that you must have wanted someone who had power to stand up against you, who would be a worthy opponent.
Yeah. You need to have real physical, physical and personal, but and interior muscle, interior warrior spirit.
The two of them fighting, I mean, I just loved it, and it just the forces at work just seem so inexorable. It's almost beyond the players, as if history is pushing them around like on a chessboard or something. Is that crazy?
No, no. I mean, there was a world I had to, we all had to make, which was. It's our world today, and the fights had to be as good as we could make them. And it seemed quite. The problems in themselves were often problems of committing to an idea. Where are we? What do we look like? What are our clothes like? And then just the physical, financial reality of making that possible.
And you got Jessica Chastain in there, the it girl of the moment.
Well, that was a flukish thing because there was a producer who had expressed great interest in getting behind Coriolanus financially, who knew her and worked with her on another film she's made recently, and said, "I think you should meet her for Virginia." I said, "Sure," and I didn't know her work, and I met her. And just on a single cup of coffee, meeting her in New York, I felt she has this sort of emotional, sort of effortless translucence, which is clearly why Terrence Malick cast her in that role in Tree of Life. Virgilia is not a big part in the play, and I think she's, of all the characters in this, she's got all the lines from the play that she has in the film. She doesn't lose any lines, but she has to exude something in her close-ups, a kind of, because she is the witness to the mess, the horror.
Yes.
She's the witness to the pity of it. She sees the tragedy, and she's sort of helpless. She's not a fighter. She's this spirit of silent witness.